So I'm here today to share good tidings of great joy. The nature of the American corporation is about to change. Crowdfunding and crowdsourcing have been around for a few years, but the innovation no longer belongs just to the entrepreneurs or to the social innovators, to you. The things that we have created collectively are starting to change the very nature of business practices inside some of the largest corporations in the world. The crowd is starting to drive change inside Wall Street. The crowd is starting to drive change inside some of the largest groups in the world, and it's already happening. So we're going to walk through 3 stories today about the power of change. The first is one of the biggest challenges of making change is unlocking human innovation potential. How do you get the ideas out of your head, and how do you get disparate teams working together to actually collaborate? How do you create those long-term collaborative opportunities? One of the largest organizations in the world, IBM, has been struggling with this for years. They own all the technology. They own the infrastructure, the layers, the servers, the email servers. They can literally track everything that happens inside their organizations. And despite spending massive amounts of money sending people to conferences and colloquia, the Indian research team, where the graduates of IIT would sit together and talk, would not long-term collaborate with the Irish in Dublin, or the Chinese in Shanghai, or the crazy New Yorkers in upstate New York. They could not get the teams to work together. Well, one researcher, and by the way, one of the beautiful things about today's talk is these are all experiments done by unruly people that had massive change. This is all driven by individuals. One researcher decided to test a very simple idea, which is that money shapes human behavior. And if we introduce money into crowdsourcing, can we unlock more creativity? So in one research division, what they did was give money to everybody in the audience and say, rather than just voting for solutions, for example, microchip manufacturing takes phenomenal amounts of water, unbelievable amounts of water. Can we reduce the amount of water used to make chips? Traditional crowdsourcing would be you just vote on someone's proposal and then IBM would write a check from one budget to another budget and someone would get funded. In this case, all the employees were given money and said, vote with your dollars for whose project should get backed. And then that researcher gets this list of who has backed their project. Not a novel idea, but an interesting application. What happened was so astounding, IBM did not believe their own numbers and called in an auditor to see who was faking the numbers. So what does an organization do? Replicate it somewhere else. They went to another division, and this time, 11 o'clock at night, a panicked phone call saying, unplug the server, because they had too many employees voting, spending too much money, doing too much collaboration, and having too much creativity flowing in the company. That's a wonderful problem to have, and they literally had to unplug the box because some programmer forgot to put a cap on the amount of money you could contribute. They did it again. This time, that little problem got the attention of the head of research of IBM. And this individual said, let's take this to a bigger scale. Well, I'll fast forward a little bit. $7 million of experimentation later, this is now a core strategy for IBM. They have unlocked the creative potential of their research teams through crowdfunding. This is driven by the board of directors of IBM. They held a special meeting just to deal with crowdfunding. Collaboration through simple things. The fact that I give you $25 for your project makes you want to talk to me, makes you feel like there's a human connection there. And that connection doesn't last days or weeks, it lasts months and years into the future. Money does change human behavior, even though it's IBM's money from one account to the other. It's still unlocked creative potential. So let's play a word association game for our next example. And this example is about the power of the crowd to change a corporation. I'm going to throw out some words, start thinking about what comes to mind. Car dealerships, car salesmen, American manufacturing. Did words like creativity, innovation, inspiration, social connectivity, social impact, or is that what comes to mind? Well, one American corporation was smart enough to get out of their way, listen to you, and make massive difference. Let me tell you the story. Sometimes change happens because people try to do old-fashioned things in new ways, and they discover that the old models don't work anymore. So Dodge, I'll give away the end of the story here, wanted to use this new crowdfunding thing as a hook to get people to buy cars. And their idea was, well, maybe if we built this really awesome website, and you could have your uncle contribute the wheels, and your aunt could buy the brakes, and your dad could buy the horn. You could literally crowdfund your car and see your car being assembled. It's called the Dodge Dart Registry. It's a real thing. Beautiful website. So they assumed it would be like college freshmen wanting their first car. But suddenly, tens of thousands of community organizations around the country started creating campaigns. Not what they expected. There was a homeless shelter that needed a car. There was a Meals on Wheels program, wanted new transportation. There was a women's shelter on the East Coast who was dealing with these women who flee in the middle of the night with nothing but their clothes, who needed a car to take their clients to medical appointments and take the children to school. There was a woman in upstate Minnesota who had to drive 3 hours to get to chemotherapy to deal with her breast cancer. She's in a very small rural community, and her church, her parish, could not raise enough money to buy this woman a car. But they were able to mobilize their community around this initiative and get the Boy Scouts and the Kiwanis and the Masons and who knows who else in a small town to collaborate. And they were able to fund this woman a car. And I'm happy to say she's still with us today. And Dodge was smart enough to listen to the crowd. And it got out of its own way and said, that's the story we need to start telling as a company. Now, the innovation here was, if I was a marketing consultant and I came to you and I said, I'm going to create 1.2 million social media impressions in a month. 99.9% of them are going to be positive sentiment, meaning that every conversation was, this is a great thing. I'm going to have tens of thousands of your customers and potential customers talking about how great you are as a company and how much you care. I'll do it for less than $500,000. And I will more than double your sales for the next 6 months of your car. You would probably laugh me out of the office as a charlatan. But that's exactly what Dodge was able to do. By listening to the crowd, finding the social passion of the community, and backing your stories, not their stories. My next story, which I absolutely love, and I'll tell you why I love it. I'm an old dad. I'm 47, and I just had my last child emerge from diapers. Most of my friends have kids in college. I'm still in diapers. So 6 months ago, we had the last Huggies experience in our house. So I have intimate familiarity with the Kimberly-Clark brand who does Huggies. Now, Huggies and diapers and butt wipes are not exactly seen as an area ripe for innovation. But Steve Pajalik at Kimberly-Clark was smart enough to say, times have changed. Our company still treats our customers as units of consumption. These are women who are going to have X number of babies that are going to generate X number of diaper sales, and you are just a bunch of women having babies. That's the 1970s patriarchal view of women as consumers, right? And unfortunately, that still informs a huge amount of corporate ideas in America. Steve said, we actually have a lot of customers who are also medical doctors and engineers and physicists and attorneys and material scientists and product designers. What if we ask our customers for ideas about how they can extend the use of our products or come up with new product ideas? So after my talk, you can Google it. It's called Moms Inspired by Huggies. And 4 years ago, they started this campaign where they would give $15,000 grants to 20 women each year for a new innovative product idea that would help in the care of children. First year, 500 ideas came into the company. Let me tell you about one of them. Any of you that have toddlers at home have seen this behavior. If they want their milk or they want their drink, they take the cup and they stick it in the high, and they guzzle the liquid as fast as possible, and their stomach fills with air. It's bad for the neck, it's bad posture, it's bad drinking behavior, and it causes distress for the child with all the air in the stomach. So this mother, who's also an engineer, decided she could fix this. So she innovated a new Sippy cup that has a certain angle of attack where the liquid only flows if the child has good drinking behavior. Then Kimberly-Clark realized that the key to unlocking innovation isn't just capital, isn't just their money, it's their It's their intellectual capital. And they invited this mom in to meet with the product design teams and the engineers. She was the first of many. I'll tell you more about that. This product will be on the shelves next year. Another story, the next year, there's a mother who was a pediatrician. And when she was giving the shots, it was okay to give the shots. But when it was her child being immunized, she would start bawling, like most parents do when the baby starts screaming. Giving shots is stressful for the child, for the parents, and for the caregiver. And she said, I'm a scientist, I'm a physician, we should be able to fix this. How do you trick a nerve to not send a pain signal? Again, she took her idea into Kimberly-Clark, met with the design teams, met with the physicists, met with the material scientists. So coming soon to a pediatrician's office near you will be the tickling popsicle. It's a device that uses electricity, cold, and vibration to trick the area where the injection is going to go in to not send a pain signal. And the injection goes through the middle of the device, inoculates the child, and the child does not feel pain. So the key here isn't just cool products. It's that Kimberly-Clark had a brilliant innovation. They realized their customers are intelligent, their customers have ideas. Not only do they have ideas, this is one of the companies that can hire the smartest engineers and MBAs in the world. They did a financial analysis of the ideas coming through the door through this competition. It was an order of magnitude greater benefit to the company than their own internal product development process. What that means is it was worth a heck of a lot of money to these guys. In the old world, you'd have a focus group and you'd randomly pick people out of Fashion Place Mall and you'd ask them to sit down in a room and you would ask them stupid questions and you would incentivize them to buy dinner at Olive Garden. And somehow you would assume that from that process, good ideas would emerge. Kimberly-Clark has not literally but figuratively smashed all the mirrors in the focus groups, rooms. They now listen to their customers. Product innovation is now a process driven by their customers. Let's extend this further. You can share capital by investing in these moms. You can share intellectual capital. They now say in product team meetings and engineering meetings, this is going to be a great day. We have a mom coming in. And they mean it. Moms are so valuable that it's changing the company's attitudes and beliefs about how they should make products and what the needs of their customers are, and they value these women's intelligence, and it's changing the culture of a company. And this is a multi-billion-dollar, more than 100-nation company, and the moms are shaking things up. They also invest back in these moms' companies. There's a mom in Phoenix who in a couple of weeks is about to get an 8-figure check because Kimberly-Clark has been tracking her innovation and realized that her product was amazing. So they gave her seed money, they incubated her, they shared their human capital, not just their financial capital. The idea blossomed. They made her a healthy offer. Can't say how much, but it's coming to the newspaper soon. They were excited because here comes the mom and she gets to tell her family, here comes the check, folks. She's wealthy beyond belief now. That one innovation by this mother is going to add 26% net revenue to one product line inside a multi-billion-dollar company and 36% net profit increase. For a major billion-dollar company, that means there's a lot of zeros. That's good for the company, good for the shareholders, good for the mom, and driven by a mother who had an idea in Phoenix, Arizona, who has now created millions of dollars for her family, solved a huge social problem, and helped the company make a lot of money. And what is already happening is that the collaborative economy, Jeremiah Owing talks about this a lot. Uber, the world's largest transportation company that doesn't own a car. Airbnb, the largest hospitality and lodging company that doesn't own a single room. That's the power of the crowd connecting with each other, disintermediation powered by technology. What's happening, though, is those ideas and those mechanisms are now informing corporate culture. Start looking for companies that actually know how to listen to you, their customers. The smart companies are going to have to figure out how to share not supply chain and integrate the supply chain, but how to integrate the wealth creation and the innovation chain. And it has to extend from the boardroom to your customer mom in Phoenix, Arizona. This change is already starting to happen. More than 50 companies in the Fortune 100 are about to launch crowdfunding initiatives. What that means is you as the customers, you as the backers, you as the crowd have the power to talk to the boardroom. You have the power to push your innovative ideas up in ways that have never been listened to before. So inside of Kimberly-Clark, the walls are coming down, the moms are coming in, and the wealth is being shared, and many other companies are going to adopt this model. So go shout it from the mountains, go share the good news, folks. Here come the moms. Thank you.